Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Last video people said that my sound quality was not that great. I don't know if I was just really hyped that video and I think I was talking too closely to the mic, or maybe it was the fan in the background. Tell me if it sounds better this time. I really hope that it does. I think I may have broken it or dropped it at some point, but that's not really that important. Anyway, Tron is back in the news. Justin Sun keeps saying things that are kind of out there, and he has now stated that he believes that Tron will surpass Ethereum once the Tron virtual machine has officially launched. On the 3rd of August, the Tron Foundation announced the company's latest releases and updates, giving users and fans a glimpse of what's to come in the future. Justin Sun, the co-founder of Tron, has stated that the 30th of August will mark the completion of the Tron virtual machine mainnet. He said that this will make the network faster and more affordable to Tron users, with a goal of making Tron a mainstay in the cryptocurrency industry. Justin also went on to say that the Tron Foundation will be providing a sandbox to the Tronics in order to enable users to come up with new changes and updates to the network. The Tron Foundation also revealed that the month of September will also see the start of upgrade processes for the Tron virtual machine. Once again, that September timeframe. The company has promised that the upgrades will ensure that the network is more stable, more secure, more user-friendly, and will function with a fully optimized instruction set. The Tron Virtual Machine team gave an update on the upgrade, saying that the process to optimize the network compiler has begun. This will make reportedly transactions and functions on the network faster, easier, and much more streamlined. Tron has also stated that the new updated frameworks of the network will be compatible with the virtual machine and will support the recovery and snapshot options. The foundation claimed that the launch of the Tron virtual machine will enable Tron to surpass Ethereum in terms of daily transactions, which will enable it to become the most influential public blockchain in the world. Justin Sun has been, I understand, I told you guys before, I think that what he's trying to do, or what he has accomplished, at least for right now, is that he's made Tron the millennial hype coin, and I think it's definitely worked, but every day now he's kind of coming forward talking about that he believes, first of all, he said that Tron will be quicker than Ethereum. I think, to be fair, a lot of things are quicker than Ethereum. Like, I think Ethereum does max like 18 transactions per second. A lot of other coins can pass that fairly easily, but the fact that he's saying that it's going to just the volume and also be the most influential blockchain in the world is kind of out there. Once again, we have this September timeframe. Apparently everything in the entire world that has to do with cryptocurrency is going to happen in September. Let's see if by, I don't expect, the exact 30th of August for the price of Tron to completely shoot up, if at all. But this is the time frame that we've been given. It's going to be a very interesting September. I was watching something, and take this with an actual grain of salt. There's a lot of talk about the next stock market crash, and a lot of people believe, and there are like whispers of it, kind of like on Reddit, on other forums and stuff like that. Not that those are like highly credible, but other places as well. And especially when you watch like traditional news outlets and they talk about the financial world and what's happening with tariffs and what's happening with this and what's happening with cryptocurrencies and the people who are getting into cryptocurrencies and the other markets that are being developed around cryptocurrencies, they keep saying that they think that the stock market as it is right now is unstable, could potentially collapse, and a lot of people have been talking in the comment section, not just on this channel but on other channels and also on other forums, saying it would be quite interesting if we have had this 7-8 month period by the time we get to September of no activity in the market. The market has been going down, and we have all this news of all these people who are going to be getting into the cryptocurrency market, and then at that point is more or less that they know that the stock market is going to crash, and this is why they're trying to build as much infrastructure as possible for cryptocurrencies, which doesn't sound that unbelievable, especially when you have NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange both getting into the cryptocurrency market at the same exact time in September. Between then and November, you would assume that they would have, I don't know, whatever. Point is, I completely got off topic. Tron says that they're better than Ethereum, and only time will tell. Like I've said before, at this point, I don't really care. I don't hold any Tron, but if they can do it, if they can make it to number 1 or even to number 2, go for it. That would be a very interesting day for the entire cryptocurrency community. Next up, this one's actually quite interesting. Stock market maven, CEO and author Clem Chambers believes Google Trends statistics for the search term Bitcoin are telling us that the worst is over for Bitcoin investors, but that's not good if you are wanting to buy in new low before you actually end up buying. Chambers, recently writing for Forbes, gathered some interesting statistics from Google Trends, searching for Bitcoin compared to Trump, Taylor Swift, or significantly higher. Chambers said that Bitcoin has massive brand clout for whatever reason. The world is fascinated by it. I think it's because people have made hundreds of millions of dollars from doing nothing. You buy something on a computer and then it ends up making you tons of money. That's going to get a lot of attention by a lot of people. So on the chart right here, you can see that Bitcoin is blue with that spike around December. Trump is the red spike. So I assume anytime that something controversial happened in the news, this is why we have one of these spikes. Taylor Swift, for some reason, has lowered in popularity, the same as Bitcoin, as has the stock market as well. I guess we won't have a lot of, I'm going to assume by September, these spikes will definitely be back up. Chambers notes that interest in the stock market rises when stock prices slump, but the reverse is true for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin prices rise, so do search volumes. He says, this suggests to me that stocks are driven by fear and crypto by greed, a tantalizing idea in its own right. Search volume for Bitcoin peaked in tandem with cryptocurrency's market peak. A closer look at the last 4 months show recent peaks which appear to correlate with Bitcoin price increases. There's an uptick, so Chambers could be onto something, although others might wait to see a more definite upwards trend. I assume this is the actual blue line for Bitcoin once again. It's worth noting that Google doesn't give actual search volumes. 100 represents peak popularity out of 100% for the term, so 50 means there is half as many searches compared to the term peak. Chambers believes the statistics point to the worst being over. Yeah, he's also invested in Bitcoin, but was hoping for a lower price point to buy more, just like everybody else. He says, this is a drag as far as I'm concerned, as I'm still hoping for a buying opportunity below $5,000. There was an investor a couple of weeks ago. He said what's going to end up happening is not the guy who we heard about 4 days ago who said that Bitcoin was going to have a massive slump and then completely explode to a number that none of us could ever believe. This was another guy who said when tons of people, he said what's happening right now is that so many people are betting against the price of Bitcoin, and we have so many shorts on the market. We have a lot of people in the comment section below as well have been saying that when they are trading and doing crypto, whatever they do, whatever website, they can see the buy orders around like $2,800 for Bitcoin, and that's because it's been predicted by a number of people that for some odd reason, after all this infrastructure, after all this great news that we've been having, that the price of Bitcoin will drop down, according to them, to 2,500 to 3,000, maybe 3,300. This is where all these buy orders are coming in. And what happened last time is when we had a Bitcoin price of, what was it, 6,700 or something like that, and then we shot up to 8,000. There was a major squeeze, and all the people who had been betting against Bitcoin had been completely drowned out of the market and from all their orders. So it's expected that this is going to happen again. So there are a lot of people who are hoping or even expecting Bitcoin to continue to drop below 5,000. I think is absolutely insane. I think we would have to have some incredibly bad news. Like, I think 6,500 is, I think, the safety net, as 7,000 is as well at the moment. If we dropped below 5,000, I think you would actually have to be worried, especially after all the great news that's been happening. That means either someone has sold off their entire thing of Bitcoin, or they know something that we don't, and something is about to be banned. I don't expect, I mean, I can see a drop of around $500, $600, $700, something like really dramatic. You know, we may get some type of bad news. Everyone is still expecting that we're in this like bad period. I can definitely see that. But to 4,900 from 7,000, we would need some catastrophically horrible news. For those already invested in Bitcoin, especially those who bought at Bitcoin's 2018 peak of $15,000 and above, the worst being over can only lead to feelings of release. I'm pretty sure I read that horribly wrong. He said the worst might not be deemed over for a little while. As always, the buzzword for Bitcoin is volatility. Bitcoin's price dropped again over the past few months, and the Bitcoin bears are back in control. So depending on who you talk to, a lot of people believe that we are in you either have bear or bull, but a lot of people are saying that we are in a type of stabilized market. The fact that we dropped below 7,000 a day or two ago, and the fact that we are still at 7,000 over the last 2 days is apparently a good indicator of a strong market. The fact that Bitcoin is actually going sideways is also pretty good, because if there's not a lot of interest in the market, the price will tend to slump. So the fact that we are where we are now seems to be very good. I said it before, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I think someone's definitely pushing the prices of things down. We've had an incredible amount of good news over the last 3 weeks. There hasn't been any negative news, I think, except for not even Warren Buffett has been in the news. No one from JP Morgan has said anything. No one from Rose Gold is in a bank. I don't know what that is. Anyone from any major bank, any institution, any government hasn't said anything negative about Bitcoin. Only good things, only things about integration, only things about being able to buy, pay, sell. You can do this with it, and this is happening in China, and this is happening in Japan, and this is happening in South Korea, this is happening in Africa. Only incredibly good news. So the prices shouldn't go down any lower, but if they do, I'd just assume that it's one of the higher ups pushing things down so their friends can load up their pockets. I think that's how I comfort myself at night when I think about cryptocurrency. Binance is in the news, and this is kind of weird, and you'll understand in a little bit. There are many conflicting opinions on what the future of blockchain entails exactly. Some projects will have a bright future, whereas others may fall woefully short. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao is confident that both Ethereum and EOS need to step up their game or risk failing. Hundreds, if not thousands, of different blockchain ecosystems are all competing for the top spot. This is by far the most exciting time to be a blockchain developer, as there is no shortage of opportunities and ways to make money. That is very, very true. There was a guy in the podcast, he said that everyone he knows who is either blockchain developer or a coder who's working on a cryptocurrency space, they're at least making 6 figures a year at least. Not all the current blockchains are necessary, as nearly 90% of them will become obsolete prior to gaining any traction. That is also very true. I'll try and get back into that if I can remember it in a second. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao is confident that a lot of big changes will occur fairly soon. More specifically, he is confident that there will be a shakeup of the blockchain ecosystem, and a lot of projects will simply start to disappear. Oversaturation has become the new normal in the blockchain world, mainly because of all the hype associated with this disruptive technology. Over the years, it has become apparent that Ethereum is the go-to blockchain for developers looking to make a lasting impact. At the same time, Ethereum has shown a few signs of weakness, more than a few recently, mainly in terms of scaling and transaction throughput. Some companies have already switched to more professional blockchains for this reason. Zhao has kept an eye on Ethereum's main competitors. He cites Tezos, EOS, and Dfinity as the main threats to Ethereum. However, in his view, they are not sustainable in the long term because they are too slow to handle most applicants. The same is true for Ethereum, which is simply not suited for real-world use in its current form. However, how the situation will play out exactly remains to be seen. There's a lot of work to be done by the developers of all the aforementioned blockchain ecosystems. It is possible that there will be an emergence of specialized blockchains which can do specific things very well, whereas the rest will slowly be left behind. Where do I even begin? I told you guys before, and I tried to, I say it in the nicest way possible. Like I said, I cannot and will not ever tell you what to do with your money, but please pay attention to the ones I talk about specific coins on this channel, not because I love them. I'm human, sorry if I make mistakes. I try to be as unbiased as possible when I talk about these coins. I hold a lot of these coins and I will still talk down about them if something negative is happening with them. You have to know the good and the bad that's happening with what you have your money in. A lot of people seem to think that just because some coin has come out 3 weeks ago and they said that they are better, faster, and can scale better, and they can do this, and they're going to integrate this into their ecosystem, and they can do this, and they partner with this, that they are somehow better than Ethereum, or better than Bitcoin, or better than XRP, or better than Litecoin. Simply because someone else has come out and said that does not mean that their blockchain or their system is the greatest thing in the entire world. What's going to end up happening is exactly this. I told you guys before, pay attention to where you put your money. I understand there may be a coin that you love that may be coin 147 or coin 196 that may sound good to you. There's a reason why banks and corporations and entities around the world are talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, EOS, IOTA, and the other bigger ones, it has to do a lot with volume, but it's also because they mention these things because they're using them. They're putting money into them. We're going to have a situation, I don't know if it's going to happen. It was predicted to happen around 2019, 2020 as we get this like major crunch in the market where a lot of these things are going to completely disappear. I think it's something like 75% of ICOs that started in January of 2018 have disappeared. Money that people put into it, these coins are now worth pennies. And a lot of the, a lot of the development teams have completely left as well. They have no teams anymore. There was something a couple of weeks ago. There was somebody, he had an ICO. It launched about 6 weeks ago. I think he made 30 million from it, and then he completely disappeared. This is going to continue happening once we have regulations. Even though not everybody wants regulations, this is going to slow down a lot as things that are going to come out will have to then be registered, what have you. But you have to pay attention to exactly everything that's going on. When it comes to what he said about Ethereum's main competitors, I think Ethereum, like Bitcoin, I think something catastrophic has to happen to Ethereum. I think the only thing I think that would knock Ethereum away from where it is, there's a couple of scenarios. It has to do with rapid XRP adoption. It has to be with no upgrades or updates happening on Ethereum until the middle of 2019, which would be completely detrimental, or would have to be with any of these three coins actually gaining a large amount of traction. We know that so the issue is, we know that Ethereum's slow. We got it. We understand. They're actively working on trying to make it quicker. But the issue is that there are a lot of other coins, Tron, who keep claiming that they're quicker and better. This is why I said before, I think it's time for, we're entering a period where you have to show that your project is a lot better than other ones. I'm going to specifically say EOS on this one, EOS, however you kind of want to say it. I think he's completely correct, but I think we're still in this almost like very young period. I think that these coins that are anywhere from 4 years to 6 months old, I think we're still in this not really sure period of exactly what's going to take over. But as of now, the people who backed Ethereum are also backing EOS, and Tezos and Definity and a number of other coins out there also have their own backing behind them. I think Ethereum doesn't have much longer in the spot where it is if we don't get Raiden, Plasma, Casper, Byzantium, and I forgot what the other upgrade is that they've been talking about since 2016. If we do not get these, we're going to have a very big problem. And also on the same exact thing, I told you guys this before, and I can't wait for it to actually happen. I can't wait until we have around just 400 coins in the cryptocurrency market, possibly even just 300. What's going to happen is, I told you we're going to have a domino effect from the back where all these coins are going to start to collapse. Even if you notice on CoinMarketCap, they have delisted a number of coins. I think we had almost 1,700 at one point, and I think it dropped down to 1,590, and I think they keep adding new coins. I don't know what CoinMarketCap is, what their exact business plan is, but the point is, we're going to see all this money that is from these other projects when people start getting scared, and when more of these people start leaving their projects or just stop giving news and updates about them. All this money is going to start to leave, and it's going to start falling into the top 20 or 30 coins. And this is the moment where you're going to say, I wish I had stuck with a major coin or a blue chip coin as opposed to some other one. The smaller coins, like, I get it. Everyone's trying to make money. I really understand. A lot of people have argued before with me that the reason they invest in these smaller coins, and I mean like they have a daily volume of like $35,000, is because they say there's only 10 million of these coins. Bitcoin reached this number because it has 17 million. I think this coin can definitely hit at least 15,000 because the creator said this, because the blockchain can do this. This is definitely quicker than Bitcoin. Why isn't this being adopted more? And they get kind of upset. And I try to explain to them, it's millions and millions of things. It could, be anything, but the odds of that coin ever taking over Bitcoin are probably slim to none. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have $1,500 to invest in something and you put your money into that, I have a friend who knows, or whose cousin or something like that, who invests in all these coins, and he keeps losing money, and it's like I don't even know how to really explain it. This should have been its own video because it's such a ridiculous topic. People investing in these ridiculous coins and stuff like that. And on the other side of it as well, what the Binance CEO said, this is completely real. I told you guys before, we're at a period where I think anyone can take the number 2 spot. I think Bitcoin it's kind of like 9-week-old gelatin. It's just like solidifying itself exactly where it is. I think it's going to be very difficult for any other coin to be able to push Bitcoin out of the way, but I think Ethereum is on very thin ice right now. Vitalik keeps coming out talking about that there's going to be this new update and we're going to have this, and there's never a date or a time frame for it, but I think there's been like 7 new propositions how to make Ethereum quicker over the last couple of weeks. None with any time frame. And even the ones that we've been talking about since 2016 still haven't come out. So it's nice to talk about that your coin will be able to do 1 million or 100 million transactions per second, and that governments could be building on top of you. But if we have no actual updates or upgrades, you could potentially then be left in the dust. Right. Next up, Thailand is in the news. This is also, we have a very odd news day. Just a lot of weird happenings. The Bank of Thailand, or the BOT, has recently allowed local banks to set up subsidiaries for dealing with cryptocurrencies. This came from a local Thai source, Blog Nun. They said this on the 3rd of August. According to a regulatory announcement published by the Bank of Thailand on the 1st of August, Thai banks can now issue digital tokens, provide crypto brokerage services, run crypto-related businesses, and invest in cryptocurrencies through subsidiaries. However, the recent announcement has affirmed that all banks and other financial institutions are still banned from direct dealings with cryptocurrencies. If that doesn't make sense to you, it's because it does not make any sense. While banks are now allowed to establish crypto dealing branches, these branches are prohibited from offering crypto-related services to its customers and the public, and can only interact with other businesses that are approved by Thailand's SEC and the Office of Insurance Commission, or the OIC. Blog Nun writes that these subsidiaries are also prohibited from offering crypto-related services to individuals. The subsidiaries are allowed to provide investment resources to customers unless they want to invest in digital assets that aim to develop financial innovation or to expand the quality of financial services, in which case they can use the Bank of Thailand's regulatory sandbox, Blog Nun also noted. So the fact that they can do all these things, they can now issue digital tokens, brokerage services, crypto-related businesses, and invest in cryptocurrencies. It seems like this may be, I don't know if they are heavily cautious. It seems like what's happening is that they're trying to do what I want to say Russia and a number of other countries are also doing, where you can only deal with institutional investors, i.e. rich people, and that normal people just simply won't have access to this. This is what I'm talking about. This is going to be a major problem. This is why I have more or less commended slightly the actions of the US and the European Union, in that normal people do have access to crypto. There's a lot of places in the world where they're making this just like the stock market, where they make it so that the SEC thinks that normal people are so dumb that they shouldn't have any, in this case, rights to be able to buy, sell, or hold crypto, not even through a bank, and that they can only, that the banks can then only do it and also only deal with other people who are banks or are incredibly rich. It's kind of weird. I have a feeling, a strange feeling, that this type of mentality is going to spread through a number of other countries. I think we could eventually see some type of lax situation where I think in Russia now as well, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's something like, if you are rich, you are able to deal in crypto however you want. There are no restrictions on you, but if you are a normal person, I think your yearly restriction from being able to deal in crypto is, it comes out to around like $3,200 that's like that you can deal in. So I mean it's not the greatest situation, but the fact that they're still able to buy any at all is a great situation. I cringe to think what it's like to be able to try and sell it or declare how much money that you've made in crypto if you've sold. I have a feeling that's also an issue. I have a feeling there are penalties if you are holding crypto and you sold it in one of those countries and you made a huge profit, that you're also going to be taxed into oblivion. Who exactly knows? But this is the news from Thailand. Like, I'm going to continue bringing you guys news from the different countries because it comes down to the adoption of other countries as well. As you know, you may live in Europe and or the States. There are other places in the world that are also dealing in cryptocurrencies and dealing with these things. So the good or bad, we have to know what's happening in these countries as well, because it'll give us a good idea of what the future of crypto will then end up being. But as of now, I assume this is kind of like a sandbox thing where they're trying to see if banks and normal rich people are okay with it. I don't really understand the whole mindset behind it. Last up, this is an interesting one. Siren Labs, the company behind the development of the Finny phone, could have changed its plans, abandoning IOTA in favor of adopting Ethereum for its blockchain-oriented phone. Since its announcement, all the news was that Siren Labs would be working closely with IOTA to develop its headset or handset. The network's focus on the Internet of Things kept the community very much on the lookout for the latest updates of this promising partnership. However, according to reports from Ethereum News, Moshe Hogeg, who is the CEO of Siren Labs, personally told them that the two projects went their separate ways. He said, "We're not with IOTA. We looked into it and decided to go a different route," end quote. It seems that now the Siren Labs team will be focusing on the development of a private network based on Ethereum. They said at launch, "We will be using the blockchain the Finny will process through a series of complete nodes hosted at Siren Labs," end quote. This move is somewhat surprising for those who have closely followed the project, and although they did not elaborate on the reasons why they made this decision, it could be due to lack of maturity of the IOTA project. It should be noted that according to the information published by Mr. Hogeg, it is very likely that the Finny phone will be released in November of 2018, so it is essential to have a solid blockchain to ensure the project's success. Remember, this was major news, the fact that IOTA would be a part of a mobile phone that was going to be launched. Apparently, they're not working with IOTA anymore. For what it's worth, we haven't really heard a lot from IOTA the last couple of weeks, but I mean, you can't expect to hear from a cryptocurrency. I mean, me and you and I, we can't expect to hear from a crypto project every single day in order to hype us up and tell us that something really amazing is happening. I know that IOTA is working with European governments to be integrated into certain things, so I'm sure they're moving forward. But like I said a couple of days ago, I think we're going to start, this is going to continue happening, and I don't think it's by accident. I don't know if this was done as a publicity stunt in that they named IOTA and then planned on already doing it with Ethereum in the beginning. But the fact that we are getting closer to September and this phone is launching soon, I think, like I said, we have 3.5 coins that everyone is kind of gunning towards: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and the 0.5 is Litecoin. And I think if you can hype up your phone or say that your phone is built with Ethereum technology, especially if Ethereum is planning on, I think the price predictions I saw, if Bitcoin goes up by a dramatic amount this year, that I think they said price-wise that Ethereum could hit around $4,000 per coin. I mean, it all kind of coincides with each other, if you will. It's kind of sad news for IOTA. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know exactly what the inner happenings are, but this has happened before. There have been a lot of blockchains who were being built on top of Ethereum. They left Ethereum for Cardano and for EOS and for all these other ones. So, I mean, it's definitely something in the works, but it's kind of weird. I think we were also talking about before that there's another company who's making a blockchain based wallet phone or something like that. So this is also kind of cool. I completely just looked over this one as well. So I have a feeling by December we could possibly see around 3 or 4 different blockchain wallet crypto phones, and I wonder what the end of 2019 will be as well, as far as many companies who will be making these crypto blockchain phones. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the news for today. Thank you once again for watching. Very odd news day. I have a feeling this is going to be a very odd news week. Who knows exactly what's going to happen. There was something that I wanted to tell you guys before. I can't remember exactly what page it was on. I don't remember where it is. Is it here? No, I don't know where it is. Anyway, one of these websites, I was scrolling through and it caught my eye. Like, you know, one eye went up, the other eye went down. One of these had the price of Bitcoin listed. Nope. Okay, it's not here. I don't know where in the world it is. Point is, the price of Bitcoin on one of these things was listed as $8,300. And I thought that was kind of odd. Don't know exactly where it is anymore. I guess it was just an error or a glitch, or I was maybe wishful thinking. The point is that a lot of these places have been reporting false volumes and numbers the last couple of days. So make sure not to FOMO into the market. If you see numbers that look incredible, check 2 or 3 different sources to make sure that you are getting the accurate number before you decide to buy something. Thank you once again for watching, and hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.